and got better at them. So even if you're in Myanmar now, and maybe we can't travel to visit you, I would love to come visit you, but we could do most everything online. We can file your documents online. We can help you do your video online, and we can file all of your documents online. So there's no problem there. We have a very experienced team that is, we've helped people from many different countries do this. So yeah, it's no problem at all.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. That's a good time for all of you to raise any question to Tyron. I just received one question here. Is the visa guaranteed to be approved once apply this visa program?
Okay, now I think we can all agree that U.S. governments, there are no, or any government in the world, there are no guarantees. But I think, we can say that we can give you a lot of confidence that it will be approved. And this is why we choose the unskilled visa. There's almost no reason for them to deny you. If you wanted to apply for a highly skilled job, there's always things they can ask you about. Oh, what education do you have? Does your education qualify? None of this happens with the unskilled worker. You don't need education. You don't need language. You don't need work experience. You need no special skills. So, and as long as you are not a criminal, and I mean that seriously. I mean, look, if you're a criminal, you're a criminal, and you won't get accepted, and we wouldn't take you. But if you're not, there's no reason they should say no. We have a good company in America that will sponsor you, and I mean that's the important part. So we have someone there to sponsor you. We know how to do the paperwork correctly to make sure everyone that we're doing it right. That the jobs exist and that we're filing all the paperwork and filing all your paperwork right. So, although we can never say 100%, I think we can say very close to 100%, as long as we're all honest with each other and work together.
Yeah, sounds great. Anyone else had a question? I think it's a good chance for you to take the chance to ask Tyron, like he's a specialist for the immigration about like migrate to US. So just bring more questions to ask him.
Question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, what if you are a student, already a student in America, and currently you have a student visa that you are about to graduate, and you are willing to get a green card to get EB3. Is it still possible to apply from there?
Yes, in fact, it's fairly common for a lot of students in the US to do this, international students, because one of the challenging parts about being an international student in America is that you move to America and you study very hard for 4 years, and you make lots of friends, and you see a lot of opportunities in America. But when you finish with your degree, you oftentimes have to go back to your home country. There's not a program really for students in America to go on to jobs. There's a few, but there's not that many. So EB3 is a really nice fit for a lot of students who are in America. It's no problem to apply while you're on a student visa, because to be a little bit technical here, your student visa is non-immigrant visa. So you have that, that's no problem. You can apply for an EB3 visa, which is an immigrant visa. So two totally different categories of visas. Here's one pathway that's student visa, there's another pathway that's EB3. So it's no problem there. Of course, we always want to know more about your background, and the lawyers will make a final decision, but there should be no issue.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, February. Tyron, I know that today's our webinar is like unskilled job for EB3 into unskilled job, but there are one question from our friend. That's any software engineer job currently for
Right.
this grade?
I'll say I don't personally offer any of those jobs. I think engineers are highly valued in America, so there could be opportunities. But the challenge is that it's very hard to get those jobs, to get someone to support you in America for that job. There's a few things you have to do. You have to prove your qualifications. You have to show all your experience, and that can be difficult sometimes. So what we sometimes suggest is that, you think about the EB3 unskilled pathway, or maybe if you're married, your wife could go and work in the warehouse for a few years, and you could, once you're in America, you have a permanent green card, and you can apply for any job you want, or even if you're alone, go work at this warehouse or factory for 1-2 years, and start planning out your next job, right? Your engineering job, because you will be a green card holder, and so you have a lot of power when you apply for a job. You wouldn't be begging the company for a visa, right? You'd have the equal rights as like a U.S. citizen. You'd be applying for the job, and you get hired based on your skills. So, for you, it sounds like you're very highly skilled. There might be some options for you, but I think there's also consider this. Like I said, it's not the perfect job for you, maybe, but it's a pathway. It's a stepping stone to get to your perfect job and your perfect life in America.
Okay, good. How about the next question is, can that salary cover the cost of living? The inflation is about like 7.5%, and they are probability to increase the interest rate by the 4 times this year.
Sure. So, I mean, I have to be completely honest. It's not a huge salary, so you won't be rich. You won't be driving. You can't afford a Mercedes, maybe, but it is enough to live on. And again, I want to repeat this. That's where you start at. There's no reason in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months that you can't make more money. America is very dynamic that way. It's very exciting. Things change if you just come and try. So many opportunities open up. So, but to put in perspective, if you made 30,000 and your husband or wife made 30,000, that's 60,000 a year. That's the average household income in America. So if you're both working this job, say you both and your wife or husband could work at this job with you, they could get. I'm sure the company would love to hire them also. You'd be making the average U.S. income for a family. So I mean, is that a lot? It's enough. It's enough to live on, right? And you can always do more to make more money. You can start your own business. You work a second job, right? You can get another job too. You can have a part-time job on the weekends. You can drive Ubers around or something.
Tyrant, so from your presentation, you mentioned about the salary, what the employer provide to our client. So for this case, right, would US will tax whatever we have now when we report everything?
Okay, so once you become a green card holder in America, you're required to report taxes. Now, and you do pay income tax in America. However, I would say, if you're making $30,000 a year in the US, you will pay probably very little or no income tax. In fact, you might even get money back from the government. So, but of course, if you start making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, yeah, of course, you're going to be paying more and more tax. So the US tax system is, if you make lower amounts of money, you pay no tax or very little tax. And the more money you make, the more tax you make. So in this way, you don't have to be too concerned about taxes at this income level. It is a lower income. So.
So how like for this program, right? We say like no English requirement, but let's say like when we any candidate they go for interview with the U.S. Embassy, how they can do interview if they
Right.
don't have really a good English to understand. It's possible.
Yes, and
How about that?
I think that's a very good question, and I want to make this more clear. There's no official requirement for English. So if countries like Canada or Australia, they will say you must take an exam and you must score this much on the exam to qualify. America does not have that. Now, if you speak no English right now, I would say please start studying some. Do some online courses. Maybe get a tutor at the local English training school, because not because the job requires it, but I think you will need it. You're moving to a new country that speaks English, and you should really have it for the job too. So you can understand your coworkers and your manager. You'll learn a lot. I mean, you'll learn language fast when you're there every day. But I think you have 2.5 years. Start studying. I mean, really, I think it's just. That doesn't mean you have to give up your native language, but you should learn some basics before you move. But there's no hard requirement. There's no exam that you have to take, and that's what we mean. But I think absolutely you should try to study and learn some basic English.
So